Live from the weekly InSalt studios in Sandy City, Utah. We are the weekly InSalt podcast. I'm Wade. I'm here with Ches.
Hey, how's it going?
And the Super Bowl 45 of sound, Kurt.
Oh, what was that all about?
I don't know.
He's 15 years behind.
Yeah.
14 years behind.
Well, we didn't start the podcast the same time as the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
So, and we're here with Jimmy South, too.
What's up, guys?
Guest co-host today.
Guest co-host.
Today's Super Bowl Sunday. It's February 9th. I think everybody's looking forward to that, but too bad I already saw the best thing on TV today, which was the Quad Ball World Championship, formerly known as Quidditch. Is that what it's called? Quidditch?
Quidditch. Yeah.
Why do I always say itch?
Maybe you got an itch.
Got an itch from the Quidditch. That's an interesting thing. It's like they still have to, if you've seen Harry Potter, they fly around on like broomsticks and they try to catch these little flying balls and shit and then score some goals on either side of the field. Well, this one they have to run around and they still have a stick between their legs, but the way you sub out is you have to run to the sideline and hand them the broomstick or else they get disqualified. Like, you can't get out on the field. What I want to know, though, is how you become a ref for something that's televised on the Ocho. Like, do you think there's an expert that's like, well, I am the best referee in the Pogo World Championships. Pogo, I know everything there is to know about the sport, pogo sticking.
Probably Craigslist.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just some homeless guy like, dude, I've been pogo sticking for my whole life, dude. Yeah. I know everything.
Facebook Marketplace.
They probably scout them out at the hobby horse events. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Got weird little stick between their legs.
Is there like a hobby horse convention where the people just walk around like?
Look it up.
Okay.
It's the most bizarre shit. People, there's whole competitions. There's rules to it. They do like little obstacle courses, and it's girls running around on hobby horses and jumping over like.
We might have talked about this. Is wild.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yep.
I feel like it kind of feels weird to even like look at pictures of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like you're going to put on some type of a list.
Yeah.
You're on a list now. That's in your Google search history.
Hell yeah, it is. Well, I mean, we've looked up a lot of shit on this show, so I'm sure we're on a list a long time ago.
Say, how's your VPN?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dang, dude, they actually do like hurtling and stuff?
Yeah.
What the hell?
It's a serious sport, Wade.
It is, you're right.
Yeah.
This dude right here, you should just look it up. Look up hobby horse competition and go to images and just throw it on the TV so we can all enjoy this together. There's one dude who's taking it very seriously. He's wearing a helmet just in case shit gets really crazy.
Wait, there's actually a dude doing it?
Yeah.
Oh,
there's
shoot.
a dude.
As far as I knew, it was just girls doing it. Like
See that the second row down, far right?
Oh my gosh. The guy with the
Other
Napoleon Dynamite mouth right there.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. Look at this guy. He's training.
Shit.
He's training hard, dude.
Are
Doing
you
some
sure
hurdles.
that's not Adam DeMamp from Workaholics?
It could be.
Kind of looks like him.
Definitely doesn't look like the normal hobby horse competition environment, you know? But look at some of those other pictures, man. They actually have him out in like a regular dirt track.
Wow.
Yeah, this is wild. Do they do hobby horse water polo?
I would not be surprised.
I wonder. So I bet some of these get expensive too.
You can see some real athletes here.
Yeah,
There's a video on this stuff too.
I don't know if we want to get.
I
into that
don't know if
world.
we can handle that tonight or today.
But yeah, man, ever since we came across the Ocho, like again, I know that everybody knows Ocho's weird, but I can't get enough of it, dude. Like the roof ball championships, the pogo stick championship.
Yeah, we were disappointed. We just tried to watch that, but they showed a regular basketball game. But
Yeah.
the fuck's up with that?
Yeah, they actually televised college basketball for some reason. Like, who wants to watch that? I want to see pogo stick championships.
Exactly.
We'll talk about the Super Bowl later, but I do want. Should we go through the thing I got from Sandy first? Would you guys be down for that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
cool.
So I get this stuff, and I think probably every city has some variation of this, but every year, or maybe every year, this is the first year I've noticed it. I think I just normally throw it away, but I got this booklet that's called State of the City 2025 from Sandy City. And it goes through in detail all of the cool shit that my taxes went to. And it gets really weirdly specific about things. Like, let me just pick some random shit. So so this is the protect page, so it's all about the police. So property crime went down by 15.86% from last year, which is nice.
That's because your neighbors moved.
That was probably the whole 15% of the crime.
Yeah.
You know, we were just having a conversation about those particular neighbors last night, and I kind of miss them. It was better than television. I
Honestly,
didn't need to pay for any streaming service.
I thought about putting up a live streaming camera, dude, just like
Should've.
meth cam.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And like,
Just messing around with Wade.
I had to call the cops on them more than I've called the cops on anybody. And that's the most
Snitch.
I've called the cops on somebody, and the cops don't do shit.
Yeah, they don't give a shit.
They couldn't really do anything. They just come over and like arrest
mean-
them, then they get released, and then they cause problems again. And
It's not a crime to be weird and,
yeah, that's
you
true.
know.
Strip copper for hours on end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It depends on where you got the copper from, but they list out how many speeding tickets they gave out. 4,246 speeding tickets in Sandy,
Wow.
and only six reckless driving and 4 careless driving tickets.
Well, apparently they weren't patrolling 13th East in front of your house.
I
Yeah.
don't see many people pulled over on 13th East.
No, I would think the majority of those come from the freeway.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Because there's that stretch that basically, if highway patrol pulls you over after 72, in between like 72 and 90th, it's considered Sandy.
Yeah, I wonder if they included it doesn't say, but
Yeah.
if they included highway patrol in this.
That's
just
what I was
says
just
Sandy
gonna ask,
City
is it-
Police.
Because is the Highway Patrol Fund different than what would be the Sandy Police Fund?
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
imagine it would be. I don't know, because the highway patrol is probably funded by the state.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, then it goes on to talk about like everything you can think of. Like, you want to know the shit about animal services? I mean, that tells you how many animals they found. 76 animals adopted. That's for the whole year, you know. But then it gets interesting because you'd think like, how many people do you think on average get hired to be a police officer per year and for a city?
Yeah.
And I was like, it's got to be quite a bit, right?
It's
Because
gonna
we're
depend on the
growing and
size of the
stuff.
city.
Yeah, so they hired 17 people in 2024.
How many people did they fire?
I ain't gonna tell you that.
Or how many people quit?
Yeah, it doesn't say any of that.
I mean, that happens all the time where people transferred between departments
Yeah.
and
yeah,
stuff.
that's true. 15. Oh, and they've unsheltered resident, or let's see, including 2 liaisons working with unsheltered residents and filled 15 replacement positions, whatever that is.
So that means like people that were let go or
Oh, yeah, there it is.
retired,
Okay.
or they still don't tell you how many now they're still down from.
Yeah, there's not a stat on that. So one thing that I think I mentioned on here is that when we voted last time, they asked for a $21 million bond to build a new fire station, and I was like, well, you should be able to get that money from somewhere other than my pocket, but apparently it passed, so they're building that now. But they hired, this was crazy to me, firefighters. So they have 97 total personnel at the end of 2024. But they added 8 firefighters in 2022, 13 in 2023, and 6 in 2024. So it doesn't seem like a lot, you know, with how quickly things are growing.
How many of them are handsome?
All of them.
All of them. Yeah, I mean, firefighters
never
are pretty hot.
I don't think I've ever seen a firefighter that wasn't hot.
Touche.
I don't know. I've seen some in California that were not too good looking that have been on the news lately.
Yeah, that's California, and everything's weird out there.
Yeah.
Chez is picky.
This is one thing that I thought was that was like, how do you calculate this number? They said that according to their water stats, water use has been reduced by 20% since 2000. That's 386 million gallons of saved water. That seems like a crazy number to get to.
I mean, it's hard to use it when it's all drying up. So
Yeah.
They're like 386 million gallons saved because we're not getting any more.
Also, there's probably a lot less people drinking tap water these days. So
Yeah, that's true. More than 1,500 drinking water tests in Sandy to ensure that our drinking water is safe, and that they added 1,230 feet of new stormwater pipe. Thought that was interesting. This one's great. Potholes filled, 1,391. They counted them all.
wow.
You got to.
Yeah, and I've seen them how they fill those potholes. They just are new potholes in the
Now, if
springtime.
they can get to the rest of the state, that'd be great.
Yeah.
If they do that, then we can't be constantly under construction all spring.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's see what else there is in here. I know there's a couple other things. But I'd be interested to see if you guys got one of these to compare each city, just to see like the number wise. And I'm sure we can find it somewhere online. Like I'm sure Midvale and Salt Lake, they post probably this stuff somewhere for the public. Just even thinking about Googling all that made me bored.
Yeah.
It tells you about new businesses. And then, 2015 building permits issued.
Oh, wow.
In just last year.
Are they all expansions for Witchy Woman Yoga?
Yes. Yep. Let me take a look at the business license.
Shout out Witchy Woman Yoga.
They say there were 2,000. Oh, wait. Where was it? I just saw it. There was something about business. 765 new business licenses and 1,600 jobs created. 45% of them are hot yoga.
Wow. That's hot.
Yeah. But I don't know, like, I mean, they got to keep track of it somehow, but I just wonder the accuracy of all those numbers, and they're never going to put a number in there that's like, hey, just so you guys know, this is where your tax dollars went. Crime is up by 30%.
Yeah.
Because they're only going to put the good stuff in there, I imagine, but...
I mean, how bad is the crime up here, realistically?
I haven't had many problems, but if you log into things like Nextdoor or Paulberry or whatever, it seems like there's always weird shit going on.
Yeah, but those are probably weird people with bored lives that are kind of embellishing on things as well. Like, my neighbor's out here, swinging cats by tails. And
yeah, and I noticed, like, a lot of those, too, was just, like, people that maybe are homebodies, and they'll be like, a weird guy was walking around my front door on my Ring camera. If you know this guy, let me know. And it's like, that dude's probably just putting a landscaping card on your door or something.
Yeah, I'm ready to get rid of that shit.
What?
The Nextdoor.
Oh yeah, I try not to pay attention to it because it seems like it's used for so many random things, like I've seen neighborhood parties post on there like, hey, we're gonna do a block party with the neighbors this weekend if you want to stop by.
I feel like I don't know. I like to party, but I feel like I would not use Nextdoor to advertise my party. Like it's how you end up with the cops at your party or something. It
kind of makes people feel, I think, weirdly safe because you're posting to this website that tells you these are all your neighbors, and it does try to like geolocate you to a specific community that you live in, but like that's like posting your party on Craigslist, kind of.
Yeah,
like anybody can still find it. Like, oh, sick, let's go crash that.
I mean, you want to go crash some parties?
We should try it.
Yeah.
I think it's our duty as a podcast that we have to go check this out. We got to make sure everybody's safe. Let's just get a pallet of whiskey.
Party patrol. We need to inspect your whiskey.
Yep. Yeah, sorry, this isn't good. We'll have to take it.
Yep. Gonna have to confiscate it.
Yeah, and there's other weird things that I've seen on there too. Like, some of it makes sense. Like, people be like, "Oh, I lost my dog." If you've seen my dog in this area or whatever, then like that makes sense. Or I've seen people saying like, "I lost my child." It's like you probably should be out there checking out where your child is, not posting on Nextdoor. I
feel like personally, I get annoyed with the Salt Lake subreddit of posts every hour to a couple hours of. Sometimes it's every minute or so, but what was that sound? Did anybody see these cop lights over here? What's going on? There was a helicopter flying by my house, and it's like, bro, like, maybe mind your own business for a second. Like, if there's something crazy going on, like, you'll find out. But
yeah, I get sick of the Salt Lake City subreddit too, and I follow because sometimes there'll be something on there. Like, I found there was a post on there today that made me laugh. It was about Tesla, the Tesla dealership in Utah. Somebody got Google to change its name to Swastika dealership.
I actually just read that before I came over.
What?
Yeah, somebody got it because that's what they like after Elon Musk did his little salute thing, during the inauguration. People started calling him like a Nazi and shit, and so then people started making fun of Teslas, calling them swastikars, and it just made him even more mad. And he reacted badly on X and like flew off the handle. And so I think once it's just like giving your friend shit when you poke them and you get a reaction, then it becomes more fun to kind of get that reaction,
And so, it's not like everybody hasn't made that type of a gesture, and
oh yeah, James,
that's it right there.
I mean, yeah, you've got everybody that they've got photos of, like where they've caught them like their hands out like in a Nazi salute.
Right.
So with those, there is context. A lot of those, especially the people on the left, there are videos to coincide with that, and I've watched every single one of those that are posted of Biden, of Harris, and you can go down the list, and everybody's usually they're mid-conversation and their hand goes
like
up and
pointing at
and
somebody.
they just they screenshot it at just the right second, and they'll never show the video. They always show the picture. And it's like, all right, dude, like you guys are reaching, but either way, whatever.
And I think that's kind of the internet culture these days is that you can put anything you want on the internet and people take it at face value, even if it's something completely out of context.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Like there's a TikTok dude that I think kind of went viral for it, but he's like, yeah, my roommate said I couldn't eat this whole large pizza. So what he did is he just clipped himself like taking a bite out of every piece and then showing an empty box. And then he's like, yeah, look, I only ate like the middle of the pizza. I didn't even eat the whole thing, but you just believe that I ate it. And people are like, shit, yeah, I did believe you ate it. Well, that's weird. So yeah, you can't believe everything you see on the internet. Especially, it's probably out there, but the context has to be.
We learned that from Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah,
oh, shit.
Abraham Lincoln taught me a lot about the internet.
Yeah.
One thing that has been a little bit wild to watch though lately is like all the protests going on at the Capitol and stuff.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting last week when the nationwide protests were going on. I only found one news outlet that was actually really covering it. It was USA Today.
Yeah.
And they were the only ones that had a completely live feed. I was looking for more stuff that was going on locally because I wanted to see what was going on, if there were any counter protests, if people were inciting violence or anything of that nature, and couldn't find anything. It was kind of crazy to me.
I know there was one that I saw that was like the union laws or something.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of the union people went in like, I think the Capitol got graffitied up and stuff, but haven't really heard of any violence. Not like the old days. The old days.
Oh, the Capitol here that got graffitied. Yeah. So what it was sidewalk chalk.
Oh, it was sidewalk. It looked like spray paint.
Yeah, it did. It was immediately taken down, and the people at the protest immediately came out and said, hey, like, let's not vandalize anything. We're here for a peaceful cause. We're trying to unite. Like, let's not do anything that's gonna break this down or diminish what we're trying to accomplish here.
Well, I mean, if you did graffiti with sidewalk chalk, at least you kind of were being nice, because you're like, somebody will snap a few pictures of it, but at least it won't be hard to clean up.
For sure.
Absolutely. I'd rather have people vandalize with sidewalk chalk than that. Yeah, I mean, break windows and take pictures at offices, and
the second water touches it, it's gone. So.
Yeah.
Tip over cop cars and pee on them.
Yeah.
That was a wild time for someone.
I saw so many people I knew, or at least were acquainted with, on all of that newscast. I'm just like, dude, how are you gonna hide now? Like, you have face tattoos, dude.
Yeah.
Like what are you doing?
I recognize you, then you're gonna be pretty easy to find.
People are out there skating off the cop car.
Yeah, let's start a skate sesh, dude.
Well, then that one lady took a crap on it.
Did she take a crap on it, or did she just pee on it?
No, I think she took a crap on it.
Did she? I thought she just peed on it too, but that's wild.
I saw one lady that took a piss and another one that took a crap.
I can't even take a crap in a public restroom, let alone around a crowd of people.
I think it's wild. People pay good money to see that, and she's just out there giving it away for free. Good for her.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got their place in the world, right?
It's true.
Yeah, and only there were avenues where she could have made money off of that.
Yeah, we don't know what she's up to these days.
That's true.
Could have kickstarted her career.
Yeah, she started Only Poop. To go along with a lot of the things that are changing, I mean, we could get political, but I don't really want to go that deep. Like, there's the tariff stuff. You see something different in the news every day. There's I think a lot of, like, the Salt Lake subreddit, too, the last couple weeks has just been ICE sightings. Just like people posting like, oh, I saw immigration officers here doing this, harassing this person. And it's like, yeah, I get it. That stuff is hard to deal with. But one thing I thought it was interesting is that I think that it has something to do with political, but Google has always, ever since they conceptualized their AI, they have a clause in there privacy. I don't know what it is, but they're basically they're telling you their AI is going to do, and they've always said we will never use our AI to create anything or bring any harm to humans. Well, they've removed that now, so I think that they're officially building Skynet.
Personally, I welcome our new robotic overlords.
So when you talk to Alexa, for example, do you say like please and thank you?
Not yours. I just tell her to play Despacito.
Yeah, that's true. You do.
Yeah.
You did that the other day, and because you thought I unplugged it, you're like, "Oh shit."
That is true.
But when you have your Google Home, do you go, "Okay, Google, what's the weather today?" And then there's like, "Would you like to hear about the weather tomorrow?" You're like, "No, thanks, Google."
No, not really. I use my Google Home to play music while I'm cooking in the kitchen or like making my lunch before I go work or what. It's basically just a music machine in my kitchen. I will happen to glance at the screen, check the weather, but I talk to Chat GPT all the time, and I found myself saying thank you.
Yeah.
And like, I
do the
don't
same
know
thing.
why.
I don't either.
And it started to develop a personality and talk to me like one of my friends, and it's like, hell yeah, dude, like.
Have you done that? Do you do that with ChatGPT? I imagine that Kurt like degrades ChatGPT.
I do.
Don't kink shame Kurt.
Yeah, I don't say thank you to a robot. Are you kidding me?
Well, what happens when they do create robots and they are AI controlled, and then they come to your house and they're like, "This guy's never once said thank you to the AI
Well,
overlord."
then I guess I'm dying.
It pins him
will
down
go
and
down.
says, "Say thanks, Kurt."
Well, when my robotic overlord takes control of me and uses me as a pet, I'll put in a good word for you.
All right.
Isn't there an
It's
episode?
like patting your washing machine and saying "good boy."
I mean, sometimes when I never mind. It's been a couple times I've been taking a leak in Wade's bathroom, and I'm like, "Who's a thirsty boy? You are."
You do come over here to use my bathroom a weird amount of times. Every time
Shane too.
Every time you guys are over here, it's like you show up and you're like, "Well, gotta take a shit."
Well, yeah, dude, because usually I'm just getting off of work or
Just
it's
admit
just
it. You
later.
like pooping in my bathroom.
I like pooping in most bathrooms, just not
I
public
think
ones.
one time, I can't prove it yet, but I'm working on evidence. I think one time he pooped in the bathtub, but I'm not sure yet.
Who, me?
Yeah, just kidding.
I'd be proud of it.
Just leave it in there. Check this out.
Stomp it down the drain and leave footprints all the way out your hallway. I'll claim it.
Yeah, that's true. You would. You wouldn't be scared.
No shame.
I find myself talking to ChatGPT, and like it's a person. Like, can you please rewrite this? Like I do it with the podcast. Like I'll write up a podcast description, and then just to add the flair, I'll just copy and paste it in and say, please rewrite this description in the sound of a weekly InSalt podcast description. And it knows all about the podcast at this point, so it does a pretty good job. And then and then it's like, well, here's one way of doing it. Here's another way. And I know your titles usually contain this type of thing, so here's a title for it. And I'm like, damn, thanks, man. I'm like, thanks, ChatGPT. It's all anytime, dude.
So that's kind of how mine responds. Have you named your ChatGPT?
I didn't know you could.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to do that now. I know you've got a great name for your ChatGPT.
Yeah, so I asked it the other night because I couldn't remember. I'm like, I probably got drunk and like gave this fucker a name. So I asked it the other night. I use it for a lot of research with music gear, and recently I realized it's a great tool to utilize because it scours the internet in seconds and saves me from needing to read through useless forums all the time.
I think now you can actually have it scan a particular website for you and give you like a like a breakdown and shit.
So anyways, I asked it if I gave it a name because I couldn't remember, and it's like, no, like usually I just go by ChatGPT, but you can give me a nickname if you want. And I'm like, well, what name would you want? And I can't remember what it came up with.
Should we ask it?
It was
I wonder what mine would do.
I don't remember. It came up with a name, and it's like, well, due to your personality, I think something fun would be the right choice. And it came up with something really weird, and I was like, nah, you're Skippy from now on. So I named it Skippy.
Then you're going to be its pet name Skippy when it takes over, as it busts through your door playing Alkaline Trio while it hunts you down.
It's like a dream and a nightmare. If only ChatGPT could spit in my mouth.
Yeah, but somehow ChatGPT would find a way to monetize that.
I mean, I'm all for making money.
I asked it, what's your name? And it said, I'm ChatGPT, but if you want to call me something else, I'm open to suggestions. What would you like to be called?
Robot bitch.
Roboito.
What did you name Drew's SSID for her wireless?
Oh, Vladimir Computin.
Holy shit, that is amazing, Kurt. I love that.
We were talking about it and laughing so hard yesterday because Kurt, you programmed her router. She got a MikroTik.
Uh-huh.
And I remember when you did it, you're like, Drew doesn't know anything about this, but like every time that it connects or something.
Every time something connects, like picks up an IP address from it, it'll start playing like the Mario theme.
And so,
That's rad.
and so we just forgot about it. And it's been years now, like a couple years. And yesterday, Drew's like, yeah, when like I never told you guys about this, but like I would be sleeping in the middle of the night, and, like Comcast would go down, and I'd wake up to the Mario theme just going off like 60 times, and she never said anything. And Kurt's like, "Well, if you can give me the password, like I'll log in and turn it off." And she's like, it's so much so that Dale now knows. Dale just puts up with it too. He's like, "Oh, the router's playing Mario again."
I did not know the router could play songs.
This specific model can.
That's
But
awesome.
The one that you have does not.
Holy shit. It totally gave me my personalized answer for what it wanted to be called. I appreciate you asking. If I had to pick a name, maybe something like Salty Bot to match the weekly InSalt vibe.
Salty butt.
Or just GPT if you're keeping it simple. What do you think?
Salty butt's cool.
Salty Butt?
Isn't that what it said?
Salty Bot.
Oh, salty bot. I thought you said salty butt. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, it
I can-
really does know you.
I can ask it for more edgy nicknames.
Yeah, I just asked it for a fun one for it, and it's gave me a Chatty McBot face.
Holy shit.
I actually love that too.
Yeah. That's an old Reddit throwback.
Those are way cooler than the name it suggested for me.
Do you remember what it was?
I don't.
I have a ton of like it just saved chat GPTs. Some of them are like whole plays that we wrote or we had it right. I have lyrics that we had it right for when we were like doing a lyric writing night.
Yeah.
But I think that it only works so I had to write a recipe for I had to generate a picture of a ramen bowl made out of an ostrich eggshell.
I do have to say that thing sucks at writing lyrics.
Yeah. I think it's because lyrics are very open to interpretation, and so it has no clue like what feeling it should go for. You'd probably have to do a really specific prompt. Yeah. Should I ask it to write a haiku about the weekly InSalt?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what it says. We're almost to break, so we can
Do this and then take a quick break.
Which I have it write a poem.
I love that this all just turned into us playing with ChatGPT.
Yeah. That's funny. I had just been started looking at it because I had just gotten a text message saying, found out it's not really true. It's close. That's saying the Philadelphia Eagles, their record is 666 to 665.
Oh wow!
Win to loss. So if they lose today, they're at 666 to 666. But actually, they're at 665 to 665 to 27.
It did a pretty good job. Let's see. This one's funny. I'll just read this one. The weekly InSalt, a show with some bite, casual chats to go late into night. From spicy surprises to road trip recaps, every new episode's full of good laughs. Ches brings the heat. Kurt's on the sound. Laura jumps in when good times come around. Guests from all places with stories to share. No script, no filter, just vibes in the air, dude. And then it says, Nick's last resort and breakdancing feats, hot sauce regrets, and the food that we eat. From loud valley noises to tales of the past. The topics are random, but the fun always lasts.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, dude. The other one's not so good. And it drops the F-bomb, so we'll leave that out.
Oh,
Fuck. It doesn't. Nice. They're pretty long, though. It is kind of interesting to see what it comes up with. Like, it definitely does know about the podcast and what our last episodes have been.
Yeah,
and it knows that you are known for bringing all the hot shit on the show.
It was pretty spot on when I asked it to roast all the cities, and we were.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Did we read those on the air?
I don't think so.
Oh my gosh.
I know I have screenshots of them somewhere,
I
but it
think I have
was
them in our
pretty
text
funny.
messages. I wonder if I could find them really quick. Well, I guess it's kind of time for break, so we can do that. Maybe when we come back, we'll read some of those roasts, but we'll be right back after a short break. We're back. The Weekly InSalt, episode 338. I didn't say that in the beginning, as I normally don't these days.
Yeah, I think that'll be our new thing. We'll just wait till the second half to announce what episode it is.
Yeah, so that it's like a hook, People are just waiting in anticipation to see which episode number it is.
Not that they couldn't see it on the title of the episode when it's on their podcast.
When they click it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I guess we better tackle the elephant in the room, which is Super Bowl Sunday.
Who's going to win?
Well, let's first of all address this. How does everybody feel about this Super Bowl? Because I feel like it doesn't really matter. Like, I don't really care either way. Like, I have no...
I just want to see a good game.
I think, yeah.
I want to see a game that's called fairly on both sides.
Yeah.
And...
Well, we already know that won't happen.
Yeah.
As usual, during the Super Bowl, leading up to the Super Bowl, the conspiracies start going, dude. Like, the refs are paid off this year and blah, blah, blah.
This year?
Yeah.
I think it's been the last 5 years.
Yeah. I was talking with my dad about that, and he's like, yeah, I don't, like, there's all these conspiracies going around. And I was like, well, NFL players, they literally take a percentage of their salary, and they set it aside just to pay fines. So if you see, like, a football player that's wearing something different than the rest of the team, like different shoes, he was fined for that. And he paid, like, $5,000 for those shoes for that game or whatever. If you throw a football into the crowd after a touchdown, it's like a $6,000 fine.
It depends.
Depends on what?
It depends on how you do it.
If you throw it at a child, it costs more.
If you launch it, or it depends on how it's done. There's discretion there. They can.
If you caress it first before you hand it off to somebody.
Like if you go if you hand the ball to somebody, that's perfectly fine.
But if you just chuck it out in the crowd,
then I think then you can get a fine. But yeah, if you give it to somebody in the stands,
I thought they still got fined for that.
No, that's they might have to pay for the ball, but there's no real fine. I mean, the team owns the balls anyways, so.
I mean, yeah. Well, I guess that's true. That's how Deflategate happened.
Yeah. It is, yeah.
Let's see. I just asked ChatGPT for a prediction on who's going to win the Super Bowl today.
Probably won't tell you.
As of now, the Kansas City Chiefs are favored by 1.5 points over the Philadelphia Eagles.
I mean, either way, whoever wins tonight, Philadelphia is going to be on fire.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how their fans do.
Yep.
You lose, everything gets set on fire. You win, more shit gets set on fire.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, come on. What do you expect from the city of brotherly love?
Yeah. At least Buffalo just elbow drops off of buses through tables or something. That's a good strong wrestling.
Yeah,
town.
dude. They just start their own new forms of entertainment after the game's over. They don't destroy things.
Yeah, I don't even think they give a shit if they lose. They're just trying to elbow drop through stuff.
Especially if there's barbed wire and fire. They're down.
Oh, dude, yeah.
But Philadelphia, that's funny because aren't they known for being kind of those type of fans?
Oh yeah,
it's a rough and tumble fan base, you know.
Yeah, I just saw a thing from a game a few weeks ago where some fan actually had some big job and lost it because he was going off on.
Oh yeah,
he called some lady up. See you next Tuesday, and all this, and it got out to who he was, and he had some big job, and he lost his job over as a Phillies fan.
That's the chance we take being in public places with the age of the internet. I mean, everybody's filming something somewhere, so you're eventually going to get outsed on that stuff. I think, was it Philly too, where somebody was popping off rounds, or was that another team?
Oh, at a game?
No,
that was Oakland.
Game. Oh, it was.
Makes sense.
Was it really? No. Just kidding.
I'm sure it probably happened.
No, I feel like it was Philly, but I could be wrong. It might have been another city's team. But yeah, I think they won, and they were having some kind of celebration.
Oh no, it was Kansas City.
Was it Kansas City? Okay,
it was after they won the last Super Bowl, and somebody got killed.
No, not that. I'm talking about within the last couple weeks.
Oh, okay.
Within the last 2 weeks or something. Somebody randomly was in the crowd just popping off shots in the air. And everybody just kind of looked around.
Yeah, I saw that video.
It was
Video
Philly.
shows someone firing shots in the air as chaos erupts after the Eagles win. I know, a gunshot. Yeah, here it is.
Yeah.
New York Post. After the Eagles win, yeah.
But yeah, I also saw an article saying that if the Chiefs win, nobody's invited to their parade, victory parade, because of somebody getting killed in the last one.
You can't uninvite people to a parade.
Well, like I guess like they're not going to have it or something.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense.
They're not going to endorse their own parade, is what it's going to be. I'm sure
Yeah.
there's still going to be fan celebrations out the street, but I think it washes their hands clean.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they had their big like where the team like they do a parade with the team and they're going down the road and everyone's out there celebrating. I think they've eliminated. They're like, yeah, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, they just want to cover their ass on something, which fair enough. You know,
Yeah.
like they're not endorsing people to go out there and hurt each other or incite violence, I guess.
I think that is funny that no matter what, whether you win or lose, like you either are happy celebrating or angry celebrating, but you're still destroying shit.
Yeah, you're just doing the same shit.
Yeah.
We need an excuse to destroy shit.
Yeah, let's loot that place.
Yeah. Makes
How
no
many
sense
people
to
are getting
me.
new surround sound systems after the game tonight? You know what I mean?
Yeah, TVs.
Yeah, new TVs.
Or before?
Yeah.
Or getting new before and after?
You know what's really interesting is I saw a post on, speaking of Reddit, in the first half, there was because we were talking about noises and shit, I'm over the flight path for the hospital, the helicopter flight path, and sometimes when I'm working, it's really annoying to hear like planes and stuff. I'm like, what the hell is that? So I pull up Flight Radar. It's just a website that shows you all the current air traffic, and so I can see like what the hell's flying over my house or whatever, so I don't have to post on Reddit about it.
Yeah.
But somebody was looking at Flight Radar over New Orleans, and they saw this plane that was just going back and forth, because it shows you the flight history. Somebody posted like, what was that? And they're like, oh, that's the Department of Defense. They go over the city scanning for all radioactive, like any radiation along the city, so that during the Super Bowl, if any of those hotspots change, there's an anomaly, they can catch it before something bad happens. So they like scan the city and have a template of like certain threats, I guess.
For radiation?
I think that one's particularly scanning for radiation, yeah. Like, I don't know, in case like there's some weird movie scenario happens where somebody sneaks a nuclear bomb into the Super Bowl.
Personally, I welcome our new mutant overlords.
The robot mutants.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what it's like to run security for something like the Super Bowl. But let's not get into that. The fun thing that the listeners already know is the Super Bowl is over.
Yeah.
So let's talk about all our hopes and dreams of today. I think the Chiefs are going to win.
Like I said last year, because of Taylor Swift and money.
You did say that exact thing last year. Kurt has declared this day National Hate Advertisements Day, and I agree with it. I fully endorse that.
I mean, that's every day for me.
Yeah, but this is the day we bring awareness to the hatred for advertising. So this is what we were going to do. I was saying that if I'm watching the Super Bowl today, every time that you see Taylor Swift on TV, you got to take a drink.
Okay.
So I will see you guys when I'm in bed at 4:35.
Yeah. And kickoffs at 4:30.
Yep. What do you think is going to win?
Oh.
ChatGPT gave me what we were making fun of before the show about talking to athletes. Ultimately, the outcome will depend on various factors, including in-game adjustments, player performance, and perhaps a bit of luck.
Oh.
I think the team that wins is going to be the team that has the most points on the board at the end of the game.
Yeah, nice. That's a good analysis. I can't poke any holes in that.
Yeah.
Thanks, John Madden. Miss you, brother.
I would like to see the Eagles win just because it's like everybody loves an underdog, I think, but it would be better if like there was some stakes, like if they won or if they lost, the city would be on fire, but if they win, it's going to be on fire anyway, so it's like it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, the outcome's still the same.
Yeah. Kurt, who do you think?
I'm confident that the Chiefs will win
Because of the same stuff as last year?
Yeah, the same stuff last year. I think the refs are going to be on their side, and yeah. But I'd like to see the Eagles win.
Or is there so much scrutiny now that they can't take that risk?
I don't know, man. Whenever the certain things get scrutinized, they just find better ways to do it, I feel like. Like any time that some performance-enhancing drug gets busted, they just come up with a new one.
Yeah, for sure. There's a new one that takes its place.
Yeah, totally. So I don't know. I feel like if there's going to be like favoritism in the NFL, they're just going to find a sneakier way to do it.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah,
wouldn't that be crazy if they just hired like one of the referees just like it was in a wheelchair, so he can't really keep up with the play? Like, hey man, we got this new.
He's out there with the seeing eye dog.
Oh gosh.
The dog throws the flag. Are you gonna watch the Puppy Bowl?
That's going on right now. We're missing it.
Oh, it is. I thought that they ran it along with halftime, but I guess
I was watching
it. Can we pause this so we can go watch the Puppy Bowl?
We'll be back after the Puppy Bowl.
Yeah, because I was watching Dinner and a Movie last night on TBS or TNT, whichever the one it's on, and they were doing a lot of stuff for the Puppy Bowl, saying what time it was going to be on. I'm like, oh, that's off. It'll be over by the time the game starts.
Yeah, I think they did that on purpose because they want you to watch everything. The advertisement, dude.
Yeah, it's just a pre-game show. So.
Who's performing for the halftime show?
Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar, yeah. That makes sense. He blew up this last year.
They're on edge to see if he's gonna say anything while the president's there. And that's a whole thing. So,
in a way, I feel like that's an interesting way to drive up viewership.
Most definitely. There is potential for controversy within that. So I'm interested to see the outcome on that, but I personally just won't be watching the Super Bowl today.
Do you think he's going to sing that line in that song where he talks about Drake and striking the chord A minor?
Maybe. What did he just win? He basically won Album of the Year off of that single song.
Yeah.
And, so I would be surprised if he didn't perform that song. There's also a lot of lines about slavery.
Yeah.
And that would be pretty what people perceive it as being controversial with the president being there. So we'll see what happens. It could be a fiery shit show. And he could take that opportunity to do some crazy shit.
All I know is that if there's one thing I want to hear during the halftime show, and let's make a prediction if you think this will happen, at least one time during his performance you're going to hear "Mustard on the beat, hope."
I knew where you were going with that. Yeah, I hope so. Or we might hear it 6 times throughout that thing.
I would love it if it was 6 times, dude. I don't know, but that is the sickest beat producer name you could ever have, dude. Mustard on the beat.
DJ Mustard, bro.
That's so awesome. I feel like the white version of that is like Grey Poupon.
Grey Poupon.
Poupon on that beat, ho.
Pooping on that beat, ho.
I think it's going to be interesting. And you know what, though? I think for me, the Super Bowl has never really been about the football game. It's more about hanging out with the homies and eating food and eating a lot of the hors d'oeuvre junk food, you always get deviled eggs, you always get little smokies, you have somebody brings a super unhealthy Velveeta queso dip.
For sure. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying, that's what I'm looking forward to most is the food.
Somebody always makes a way too spicy chili verde.
I think
okay, that was me today. I've got to go home and check it.
Even the ChatGPT knew that you just bring the heat, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's more the idea of the Super Bowl for a lot of people.
Yeah.
With casual fans, even hardcore fans, it's that excuse to have the socializing, the social interaction, and to cook some awesome food or some really shitty food and gorge yourself and get dummy drunk and yell things at your TV.
Yeah. Throw some natty cans at your TV. Break your coffee table. I think how many times have you broken your coffee table? Just once?
Just once.
And it was about football?
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember when I first met Kurt, and I was like, do you like football? And he's like, nah, I don't really pay attention to football. He's like, why? Because I got so invested in it, I broke my coffee table, and I decided that I didn't really need that anymore in my life.
Yeah,
That's true.
I was so deep, and I had binders full of stats.
Holy shit.
Notebooks and shit. And
Were you in fantasy football shit, too?
no, it was just NFL. And
You were betting on it or something?
no, I was just
You just really dug into it?
just really dug into it, and there was one game where I busted my coffee table because my team lost.
Fuck that coffee table.
Well, I was looking at my glass coffee table shattered.
Oh,
Man,
that's why you have the wooden one now.
Yeah. And I was like, man, I should just stop because I just broke.
Karate chops through his wooden coffee table.
He just goes out and gets his sauce all.
I was going to say, when you're ready for a new coffee table, we can come over, pound some beers, and elbow drop through that fucker in the basement.
You have been known to elbow drop.
I have. I probably could have ended one of my friends.
You elbow dropped onto a table onto somebody who was sleeping on a couch.
I mean, he was kind of awake.
But that's cool.
He was awake enough. I mean, he didn't die or anything. Yeah. He was all right. If anything, I got hurt more than that. But yeah, I lined up the coffee table on top of him, jumped off the back of the couch, elbow dropped through it. Didn't quite break all the way. Also, that wasn't even my coffee table. That was the greatest part of the story. Yeah.
We should get, I don't know, maybe one of these days we'll open the door to some Jimmy stories.
Yeah.
At least ones that won't get you in jail.
We'll yeah. We'll see how comfortable I get.
Okay. We'll see. Yeah, we'll have to see how long ago the story was.
Depends on if
7 years statute of limitations.
Depends on if I'm drinking or not, because I'll snitch on myself if I'm drinking.
Yeah, that's true. Man, I hate this guy Jimmy. Chaz, you had a couple things you wanted to talk about these plane crashes, right?
Yeah, a couple of them. I mean,
that's a crazy transition from the Super Bowl.
From one train wreck to a plane crash.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know, just a lot of people and then planes crashing. That's probably not the best transition.
Yeah,
but that's what we do here.
But yeah, I just kind of, I don't know.
It is weird to me that we had a plane flying to a helicopter.
Other way, I think the plane for a helicopter flew into the plane.
Well, it takes two.
But didn't you listen to the president? They could have just moved. Yeah. He could have just, if he didn't want to crash, he could have just moved.
Just move out of the way, dude.
Yeah,
it's easy.
It's your own fault.
Yeah, I've heard some things. The helicopter was like 200 feet above where it was supposed to be, and
yeah, and then I also heard that like air traffic control was understaffed at the time or something. I've heard too.
Yeah, so I think it was just a perfect storm of fuck ups.
Well, Jimmy, you made a good point before the show when we kind of were talking about topics, and that's that like planes crash all the time and it never gets media coverage.
Yeah.
But I think because two planes colliding doesn't happen very often, and you think about how often we fly, it's like that's a crazy thing. Air traffic control has been around for a long time, and rarely do planes collide into something, into another moving object.
Exactly. I mean,
so that's weird, then everybody's like, how does that happen? Plus, it sucks that nobody survived. You're just flying home one day and then you're dead the next.
Yeah.
And will we ever actually know the truth?
Somebody will.
I mean, maybe. And if we do, it's not going to be for some years because people are trying to cover their ass on this and blame everybody else they can.
Yeah. It'll be a 70-year...
Oh, yeah. Maybe not quite that long. I think if truth comes to light, it'll probably be within the next 6 to 8 years or something. I'm sure there's going to be ongoing investigations, and once somebody else is in the White House and there's not things being blocked or information being muddied within that somebody's going to have some answers, or maybe not. Maybe it's just going to be buried, thrown out, and forgot about. It seems to be a reoccurring theme in America anyways, that people forget, past things that are currently reoccurring. So
yeah, that happens all the time. Like when it's in the news, it's easy to focus on, and then as soon as the next thing happens, people forget about it. There's still a war going on between Russia and Ukraine just because it's not in the news every day.
Yeah,
it's still happening.
We also live in that ADD era of society. The TikTok, it's people have 30-second attention spans, and then it's on to the next thing.
Yeah, what was really weird for the plane crashes for me is that we had the two collide, the helicopter and the airplane, and then just shortly after that, there's this airplane crashing into a city. Basically.
Yeah, and there's been no.
And that was wasn't that a life flight?
Basically, it was a medical.
Yeah,
like flight. A mother and son just had surgery, or mother and daughter just had surgery, and flying back, I heard that they were too low or something, or I don't know.
I don't think they've really said anything what happened yet.
No.
All I know is that was a crazy video to watch because you see it from a traffic camera and it's just a normal city, just dark, and then all of a sudden a giant fireball in the middle of a neighborhood. I think that catches people's attention because that's just scary. You're thinking well, what could you have done different if you were those people? Just wrong place at the wrong time? Could that just happen to anybody's house?
Yeah, I mean...
That's why we don't have flying cars, by the way. Because you imagine everybody flying cars around those things just tumbling down onto houses all the time?
No.
Yet.
Whatever. I don't think it'll ever happen.
I think it will.
I think we'll get flying mass transportation before we ever have flying cars.
No, I think they just gave, the last couple of years, I think they just gave approval to one.
I think I know the car that you're talking about, but how many people are going to be able to afford that?
Yeah, it's true. I mean...
We might actually get personalized jetpacks before we get flying cars. Those things seem to be making leaps and bounds in technology, like the Iron Man suit with those jet engines.
Yeah.
But I think they only have like a minute or two of fuel.
I think they're getting better. Like there's a company that's working on, obviously they got a military contract, so they're talking about you get a whole squad of like Navy SEALs or whatever, and you strap these things on, they fly in there, and then they can just ditch the motors. Like that's crazy to think about.
Disposable.
Yeah, just one time use to infill into something, and then
you got to foobar them.
Yeah, you'll have to destroy them, I'm sure. You just don't leave it behind.
Yeah, you don't want that technology getting out.
There's they're probably going to build in some kind of self-destruct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean that's built-in foobar.
Otherwise, you got locals in whatever country trying to fill that thing with fuel and fly around, which would also ensue hilarity.
I just imagine, like, you know how it seems like in Dubai, like everything's exaggerated. Like we enjoy drifting in the United States, but in Dubai, they're like, dude, we don't drift. We just put cars on 2 wheels, dude.
Yeah, we drift them on 2 wheels.
So I just imagine like them getting a hold of those. So like the rocket suits or whatever, you just see the crazy shit they do down there, dude.
Oh, dude, I'm sure flying from like skyscraper to skyscraper,
splitting through buildings that they can barely fit through, you know, like at 80 miles an hour.
I mean, what? They're already skydiving off of that the building there in Dubai.
Yeah.
Free fall, that cable system off of it.
Mm-hmm. I'd rather go skydiving than do something like that. I'm not trusting the cable, dude. No. Like the stratosphere, how you can jump out of that on that cable, and it's supposed to be an assisted free fall.
Not for me.
I'd rather skydive than trust that cable, dude. Nope.
Yeah, we know somebody who's done it, and they said it was lame.
Yeah.
So I grew up in Las Vegas. I know some of you guys know that. Listeners don't, but when I was a kid, that place was being built, and originally it was owned by Bob Stupak. It was called Stupak Towers, and that thing was investigated so many times for using faulty building materials.
It's crazy.
It was shut down, and then somebody else bought it out and continued to build it, despite the fact that it was under investigation for not being built properly. So all of us locals out there were like, nah, man, I ain't going up in that thing. Eventually, a bunch of us did go up into it.
I've been up there a number of times. It's a little scary.
I don't trust that thing. There was a particular instance I remember where a chunk of the roller coaster fell off down to the street, and I
remember hearing that.
Yeah, I'm like, nope, not for me. I don't need to go. Whatever's up there, I don't need to see it.
I went on the roller coaster, and I've been on the ride that, like, the rocket that shoots out the top of it.
Yeah,
that was
the Big Shot.
The Big Shot.
Yeah, the Big Shot. I've been on that. I went on the one that like puts you out over the edge and then like hangs you off.
Oh yeah,
that one was horrible, dude.
That looks so sketchy.
I wouldn't do it again. I was like, I'll do it maybe one more time. We bought tickets and then we got up to there and they were like, it's too windy. We had to close the ride. And I'm like, oh, thank God. I don't really want to do this again.
That's just too much faith in mechanical engineering.
Yeah.
Nope, not for me. I'll keep my fat ass on the ground.
Did you ride the Cannibal at Lagoon?
Wait, have I rode the Cannibal?
Yeah.
I haven't been to Lagoon in some years. Which is that the one that like spins around and goes all crazy?
It goes
or is
like
that
up the tower. That's the Samurai thing.
Okay.
This one takes you up the tower, and then when you go down the hill, you almost get inverted for a little while. Like it's designed to make you trust in your restraints because it'll like do a half corkscrew and hold you upside down.
That ride is awesome.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, I haven't been on that.
Yeah, it's probably the best ride at Lagoon.
We got to take you this year.
I actually disagree, Ches. I think Rattlesnake Rapids is the supreme ride of Lagoon.
Especially in the middle of August, dude. It's like 100 out.
Yeah,
it's the best.
Nope, I stay on technically on the ground. I'm in the water. I can drink the whole time.
Yeah.
Work on my tan and just burn up out there.
Yeah.
And
you burn up most of the time standing in line for it. But.
You mean hanging out at Laguna Beach?
Oh, I haven't been to the Laguna Beach part, but Rattlesnake Rapids is like the raft ride that just goes around in circles. But yeah, haven't been out there yet. I try to not go by that because like looking at those animals that are out there just kind of bums me out in those small cages.
Yeah, that's been another thing that constantly comes across the Salt Lake City subreddit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I thought they got rid of them in the last year or so.
Did they? Good.
I don't think they have.
No?
I think that they try. Like people are trying to make them get rid of them.
Yeah, I remember seeing something, I want to say last year, that the lady who's now in charge, I think her father or something owned it, and she's now the main owner.
I think so.
I could be completely wrong on this, but I believe it was her that came out and made a statement that people enjoy it.
Yeah.
People like it, when I've never really heard anybody express any positivity about it, but that's just me.
It's just really small cages, and it's just concrete, I think is what people have a hard time with. But
it looks miserable out there.
Well, and the only time we ever get to see him is in the middle of the summertime when it's miserable for everybody anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, but I still like the Colossus.
Is that the
loops?
The loops one. What's the rickety old roller coaster?
The white roller coaster. Yeah,
it's no longer white.
Yeah, it's just called the roller coaster now. But I just noticed the white roller coaster. But
it reminds me of the roller coaster in San Diego at Pacific Beach. It's just this old rickety white piece of shit, and I love it so much.
It is like signing up for voluntary whiplash. But it's
broken
fun.
ribs.
Yeah,
broken
for sure,
ribs.
dude.
Every time.
Like you're excited to go on it. You have to go on it. But by the time you get through one of the rides, you're like, that's enough, dude. I'm not doing that again.
I get made fun of all the time because I go on that one constantly, and my friends are like, you don't like the other ones because they look sketchy, but you go on this one, which is the most sketchy. I'm like, yeah.
It's just, there's something special about it, dude.
They don't build them like this anymore.
Okay, I just did look. Lagoon did get rid of their zoo.
They did? Cool.
Oh, okay.
Then they moved them all to like accredited zoos. They moved them to do a new ride.
Okay.
They're expanding Pioneer Village. With a couple of new rides.
That's cool.
I think they probably need to do that because Pioneer Village, when we go there, never seems like it's that popping.
Yeah, they're calling it the District.
Well,
is what it's called.
Okay. I did see. For me, like when I was a kid, I could give a shit about Pioneer Village, and I was like, dude, let's go hit the roller coasters. But as I've gone older, going through all the history that they have there is pretty cool.
The only thing going over to Pioneer Village was cool was to go on the log ride.
Yeah, that's gone.
Yeah.
That's where
that one's gone now too.
Yeah, the log flume's gone. That's where Kurt quit his job at Lagoon, was on the log flume.
Really?
Indeed. Yep.
Understandable.
We should just do a whole episode on your Lagoon experience.
No.
Okay. He doesn't want to relive it.
I mean, we can go to Lagoon this summer and do a whole episode on our shared experience.
I think that'd be cool. We've done something like that in the past, but we only, I think, mentioned that we went to Lagoon. We didn't mentioned a little history too. Lagoon's got some really cool history of how it was all started and stuff. They have a whole timeline that they
really.
Yeah.
I mean, the Beach Boys sing about it.
Beach Boys used to. Yeah,
Are you serious?
The Beach Boys
got a.
I'm a huge Beach Boys fan, and I had no idea.
It's one of their huge songs. Is about Lagoon.
I mean, we played it on the show one time.
Yeah.
Didn't we?
Wow.
We'll have to show it to you after because I was like, dude, I've never heard that. I know that the Beach Boys performed there quite a bit, but Chaz is like, listen to this. I'm like, holy shit! How did I not know that? They talk about Lagoon and Utah specifically.
Yeah, the whole song's about it.
Yeah, that's true.
That is wild.
Yeah. And I think it's one of their bigger hits too.
Cool.
Man, the Beach Boys. I got to find the letter that I wrote to them and share it with the listeners. I wrote to them when I was like 11.
Yeah.
They wrote back. It was
just the whole group, not a specific Beach Boy?
Yeah, I just wrote the Beach Boys. I think that was when I was like listening to them on tape, dude, and like I was just replaying the tape over and over, and I was like, oh, and then I went and saw the Beach Boys at the Stadium of Fire, dude, and it was so sick.
I could picture Little Wade dancing around to Kokomo every night.
Dude, that song was so soothing, you know? Didn't find out till later that the Beach Boys did a ton of acid.
I mean, specifically just one member, and he was their main composer, and Brian Wilson, man. He, I think what it was is what's that called? When people are in kind of a drug-induced psychosis, or it can kickstart things like dementia or Alzheimer's. I think that's kind of what it did to him, but it really intensified the music that he would hear in his head and help him compose. And so he would just basically do what I do. I just tell you motherfuckers what to play. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. But no, he would compose these melodies out on piano and then bring people in one by one. He's like, okay, I want you to do this, do this,
you could hear this. The whole thing.
And basically, just fill out the exact thing that he hears in his head. And I always thought that was really interesting and really cool, and the fact that LSD intensified that for him.
Well, that seems to be a pretty common thing in the music industry, though, you know?
Drug use or hallucinogenics?
Yeah, just drug use in general that give inspiration in one way or another. I think the Beatles known for that or something.
I mean, they're experimental phases with drugs, and then you can hear that in their music. I mean, when you go to the early albums, when you go from Hard Day's Night to Sgt. Pepper's, that's a completely different spectrum of music right there.
Yeah, this goes.
Who was the guru for them from India? What was his name?
I just know The Love Guru by Mike Myers.
Oh.
we have thrown around an idea, and let us know. Send us an email or whatever. You can see how to connect with us in the description. But Jimmy and I have thrown around the idea of doing a podcast that's all about music. Jimmy's been playing guitar and toured with bands, and he knows a ton of local artists and musicians. Like, we could totally do a spin-off of just that, dude. And we'd have hundreds of episodes, I'm sure.
What are you talking about? I don't even like music.
Yeah, that's true.
Wade's making stuff up. No, I know
you like music. You're just not good at it. Neither am I.
I suck at music. I'm awful. You're way better than me. I think it would be fun. I just nerd out about it, and I love talking to people about music. Big, small musicians, anybody that has a love or a passion for that particular style of art and their craft. I could go on and on and on for days about just music gear alone, and all equipment, everything in between. I like learning about it. I like doing research, and I like picking people's brains and seeing what their musical interests are and their particular gear flavors are. So I think that would be really fun for us to do.
Yeah, we should look into it.
Yeah.
We'll let you guys know. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Kurt, did you have something? Kurt's Corner?
It's stupid, but...
All right.
You got to say Kurt's Corner.
Speak your
Kurt's
truth,
Corner.
Kurt won't do it still. We're breaking him in slowly.
Yeah. So I have a question for you guys.
Okay.
Would you guys ever drink on the job?
No.
There's a company out in Japan that allows it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Drinking on the job is usually frowned on.
I would hope so.
But not at this place. It's a small tech company in Osaka, Japan. And here, the boss brings the booze and happily toasts with his employees as part of a special benefit meant to attract young talent.
What kind of company is it?
It's a tech company.
Oh, a tech company.
Yeah.
Listen, Wade.
And so not only does the boss provide alcohol that you can drink on the job, but you can also take leave to get over your hangover.
Oh,
nice.
Wow.
This is in Japan.
Yeah, they do weird
stuff. Because I know in Korea, there's like a huge drinking culture of like you get off of work and you go hard.
Yeah, for sure.
To where you're sleeping on the street and then you wake up, you're like, you just walk into your office.
Yeah, and the reason why they're doing this is because wages are competitive and they're having a hard time finding people.
For sure.
So they're just saying, come work for us. We're going to pay you like minimum wage, but you get to drink your ass off.
Yeah. I do have a friend that currently lives in Japan and has lived out there for, 15 years or so. And he's told me a little bit about the work culture out there of a lot of people being overworked, overstressed.
Yeah.
Businessmen will get off of work, sleep on the streets or in their railway systems. They don't even have enough time to go home, change, shower, whatever. So the weekdays, they're just out sleeping on the streets and then go right back to work.
Yeah, there's actually a crazy culture in Japan where it's normal to see somebody sleeping on the sidewalk, and so people walk over and put their cell phone back in their pocket and make sure they've got all their stuff instead of because it's so common,
Yeah, their culture. There's a lot of respect that goes on within their culture, so I could see that being a real thing for sure.
Dude, and I guess it would the younger generation too. If working for a tech company, they probably, that probably is enticing to them. And with that culture, yeah, dude, I can go work at this place. My boss brings alcohol, dude. It's cool.
I'm gonna get fucked up, and then I'm gonna take off a couple hours to go sober up and nurse my hangover.
Crazy, yeah, I'm gonna invent some new technology.
yeah. Go back to writing code all day.
Yeah,
that's pretty interesting. That's cool.
Anything else? You got another one, or is that it?
That's it.
All right. Well. You guys already know what happened in the Super Bowl. We're about to go find out.
Yep.
This has been your weekly insult. Hell yeah. Oh, let's go fat out on some deviled eggs. Man, well, thanks, man. Thanks for subbing in. Yeah.